I travelled to Uxbridge, which is Boris Johnson's constituency. He has been MP since 2015. What was happening there today is an event organised by DPAC, who are Disabled People Against Cuts, and they had organised the event by Boris. They want is to end Tory atrocities against disabled people and children and pensioners, single parents, homeless people. The message they wanted to put out is that Tory Cuts Kill, and that we need to end austerity now.
We have a health service, we have a welfare system. No one should be going to bed hungry, no one should be homeless. The fact that we have acclimatized people, we have normalized hunger and food banks is shameful, not just of this government but of us. It is our taxes that pay their wages, it is we who are responsible for what they're doing, it is we who have the chance to change everything next Thursday. And I'm appealing to the world and this country to change everything. The future is in our hands. It is not just our politicians. They are the few, we are the many. As the many, we have the right, the duty and the responsibility to get them out of government when they go against the people and the planet. It is up to all of us to change everything, and we can. So use your vote, use your vote, use your vote. Get the Tories out, get change, get positive change, get a government that actually respects people and planet, not money. Twice a week I'm on hunger strike for climate justice and for social justice. Hunger strikers all over the world are today, but there's particularly outside the Labour headquarters, the Tory headquarters, the Lib Dem headquarters. There's people there who are on hunger strike every day of the week. There are people on hunger strike to raise awareness. So the least the rest of us can do is raise awareness too. And if altogether we manage to get enough vital awareness by next week, by Thursday, by the election day, we could make sure that this government are out.
Hands up anybody who likes Boris Johnson. Hands up. Nobody? You seen him? Meant to be your MP, isn't he?
Disabled People Against Cuts came to Uxbridge today, so we're here in Boris Johnson's constituency, and we wanted to explain to the voters here what the impact of Conservative policies have been on disabled people since 2010, or the unnecessary harm and suffering that have been caused while the rich have been getting richer. And we just came and we made the case. We had our own judge, Justice Peters, Paula Peters, and a succession of people came up and told their stories and talked about the impact of the policies, and we handed out leaflets explaining what's been happening and just encouraging voters here to vote Boris out on the 12th of December. In 2016, the United Nations found the UK government guilty of grave and systematic violations of disabled people's rights due to austerity and welfare reform, and they didn't make that finding lightly. They looked at thousands of pages of documentary evidence, they visited the UK, they spoke to hundreds of people. It was a very comprehensive report, and what they found was such an overwhelming amount of evidence of disabled people's rights being taken backwards that they couldn't really come up with any other conclusion. So what we're talking about is disabled people being left with literally no money to live on due to benefit sanctions, due to going through benefit assessments that aren't fit for purpose and have wrongly taken money away from people. We're talking about cuts to social care support that are leaving disabled people trapped in their own homes without access to food or water or the toilet for hours and hours at a time. Completely inhumane treatment of people. And this goes on, and many people aren't aware of it because the media hasn't been covering it anything like the degree that it really deserves. Still in society, that disability is something very other that isn't relevant to most people, and I think a lot of people have so much going on in their own lives where they're trying to pay their bills, trying to pay their rent, that often people don't have time to take in what's happening to other people unless they've got personal experience of it. Look at the issues that are talked about on like the mainstream political programmes. They never seem to talk about the things that are actually relevant to real people. So when Francesca Martinez, the disabled comedian, went on BBC Question Time, and she talked about how the Conservative government had blood on their hands and about all the cuts and how that had impacted on people. Many people said it was the best moment ever on Question Time because for once someone was saying something that was actually relevant to people's lives. DPAC, we just try and do what we can do to get the message out. A lot of the time we have to be reliant on independent social media to really get the messages out there, and it's becoming ever more difficult for disabled people to mobilise and to get out because people don't have money for travel, because people don't have support, because people are so ground down by just constantly having to go through assessment after assessment. It's becoming much harder for us to organise and to campaign, so we just try and do what we can where we can because we're not going to let them get away with it.
And what's your message for voters for next week?
DPAC's message is get the Tories out, trash the Tories, unseat them. We can't survive another 5 years.
With Boris Johnson?
Boris out.
That's very clear. Unseat Boris Johnson.
Unseat Boris Johnson. Get all the Tories out.
The absence of social housing in most parts of outer London is endemic. There's never been any council house building in places like Uxbridge, or Croydon, or Hillingdon, or Hayes, or Twickenham, or any outer London borough. Certainly as the MP for Uxbridge, he has been quite probably the worst an MP could ever be. He's definitely responsible not just for the crisis of homelessness in Uxbridge, but also the crisis in London and in the rest of the UK. Boris Johnson is not accountable. He has skipped interviews, he has not bothered to attend his constituency in months. He came once for a walk by and then buggered off somewhere else. People on Twitter, and one of the main trending tweets every single day is "Where's Boris?"